My family, hi. So I have some prophetic updates for you.
Great war is rice paper thin, ready to break out across the world. I told you all what the Lord said about the Greenland. And there was not a green light to take Greenland. And many people said, well, Brandon, we should take Greenland. I said it will cause great rift around the world.
Things began to heat up again. The word around the world was tensions rising. I saw the president increasing power and people seeking to depose him and world leaders wishing him death or deposition or good and celebration, for he had upset the world order, and many were calling him an imperialist and an empire to himself.
So inside the states, we're seeing something I saw with countries, where I saw countries like packages, like a country is being given to someone. Wow. I saw Greenland being issued, being offered like a box like this, and it's wrapped in a star-spangled banner. But it was like behind the scenes that people will take time to actually notice it is gone.
And my family, before we get into the video, here are some updates from the news.
It's been exactly 1 year since Donald Trump took office. He was inaugurated on this day in 2025, January 20th. Everyone knew it was going to be chaotic. After all, this was an experienced and vengeful Trump. He wouldn't spare anyone, not allies, not adversaries. But I'm sure no one expected this level of drama. 1 year into his presidency, the most pressing issue is not Ukraine or Iran, it is Greenland. Trump is adamant about taking over this island. He wants Europe and Denmark to serve it on a platter. And if they don't, Trump is threatening tariffs starting in February. At first, Europe criticized this move, but now they want talks. They are trying to reason with the US president. First, the NATO chief reached out. He sent a message to Donald Trump, a message that Trump leaked on social media. Listen to this. Dear Donald, I will use my media engagements in Davos to highlight your work in Syria, in Gaza, and in Ukraine. I am committed to finding a way forward in Greenland. Can't wait to see you. Trump released it, a private message. This is diplomacy in Trump's world. Leaders do not call or exchange letters. They shoot direct messages on their phones. And the language? This is flattery on steroids. In this case, Trump agreed to a meeting. He will attend the World Economic Forum at Davos tomorrow, and while there, he will meet European leaders. It's a chance for them to sway Trump. Another meeting was pitched by French President Emmanuel Macron, again on text. Macron sent a text to Trump, and Trump posted this message as well. Here's what it says. We are totally in line on Syria. We can do great things on Iran. I do not understand what you're doing on Greenland. I can set up a G7 meeting in Paris on Thursday. Let us have dinner together in Paris before you go back to the US. That's Macron's message to Donald Trump. It's not clear if Trump has accepted this invite. If he has, brace for an awkward meeting, because yesterday, Donald Trump unloaded on Macron. The French president has refused to join his Gaza Board of Peace, and Trump did not take it well.
Nobody wants him because he's going to be out of office very soon. So, that's all right. What I'll do is, if they feel like Costo, I'll put a 200% tariff on his wines and champagnes, and he'll join. But he doesn't have to join. If he said that, you're probably giving it to me a little bit differently. But if he actually did say that, but as you know, he's going to be out of office in a few months.
We do believe that we need more growth, we need more stability in this world. But we do prefer respect to bullies, we do prefer science to plotism, and we do prefer rule of law to brutality.
CJ, I want your thoughts, not just on his message, but his new look.
This is a guy who came and stand up to his wife, and now he's trying to talk tough on a stage in Davos to President Donald Trump. I don't think that's going to go over too well. But honestly, I feel a little bit bad for him. I think we should actually look into this and maybe get him, protective custody. I don't know really how that works. The Secret Service over there in France needs to do a little bit of a better job to protect him. But here's the deal. President Trump is not going to be bullied by anyone like Emmanuel Macron by any means.
Dinner after that, we say good luck to Macron. Either way, the Europeans are making a last-ditch effort. They're trying to rein in Donald Trump. The question is, will it work? All indications are that it won't. Trump has posted 2 AI images on his social media. The first one shows Canada as part of the United States. The other one shows him planting the US flag in Greenland. So Trump is not backing down. Yesterday, he reiterated his earlier message that America must have Greenland.
We have to have it. They have to have this done. They can protect it. Denmark, they're wonderful people. And I know the leaders are very good people, but they don't even go there.
What must it feel like to be Vladimir Putin right now? He has spent years attacking NATO. He has slammed the Western alliance. He has tried and failed to split Europe from the United States. And suddenly, he doesn't have to do it anymore because America is doing it for him. Donald Trump wants Greenland. He wants access to the Arctic. He says it is to prevent Russia and China from taking over the region. You would expect Moscow to push back. After all, the Arctic is one of Russia's most strategic regions. But not this time. This time, Russia is smiling away. In fact, they're encouraging this bid of Donald Trump. Look at what Russia's state-run media is saying. They're praising Trump. They're openly attacking Greenland. And they're mocking European unity. Trump is being portrayed as a historic leader. Here's how one newspaper put it. If Trump gets Greenland, he would be remembered alongside Abraham Lincoln. Basically, Trump would go into history books as one of the greatest American presidents. That's what the Russians are saying. They're rooting for Trump to annex European territory. And it's not just their media, not just the Russian media. Their ministers are also at it. Look at what Sergei Lavrov, the Russian foreign minister, has said. He said Greenland was not a natural part of Denmark. He called it a problem of former colonial territories. Listen to this.
In principle, Greenland is not a natural part of Denmark, is it? It was neither a natural part of Norway nor a natural part of Denmark. It is a colonial conquest. The fact that the inhabitants are now accustomed to it and feel comfortable is another matter. But the problem of former colonial possessions is getting more and more serious.
So why is Moscow doing this? Why is it in favor of the US planting itself in the Arctic?
So my family, from this we can actually see that the tensions are rising, and there are some prophetic words that I actually have, prophetic updates. And I'm going to share this clip with you from Brother Brandon. And remember, he always says God reveals things to him so that people pray about it so as to avert things. All right? So let's listen to what he had to say.
He said, I'm going to do some things different. And he said to me, I want you to go back to every single video of the things that I've warned you to pray about, and I want you to take the time to pray for them, pray for every single individual thing for a while. He said, I've given you enough, son, for a while. There is a lot there that has never been prayed over. He said the crypto bill that got held back in the Senate failed because they didn't vote on it, and it should have been bathed in prayer, and it wasn't. He said, there's attacks coming upon your soil that have not been bathed in prayer. There's attacks against your president that have not been bathed in prayer. Great war is rice paper thin, ready to break out across the world, and it needs more prayer. He said there's much prayer that needs to be done. We need to pray for the plague. There's the revival. There's so many things with the wave and the markets and all about what's happening financially in this global economic shaking. I told you all what the Lord said about Greenland. And there was not a green light to take Greenland. And many people said, well, Brandon, we should take Greenland. I said it will cause great rift in Europe. It will cause great rift around the world. And this is either a make or break time for President Trump's term. He said the decisions in the valley of the decisions of where he's at right now will make or break the election in 2026 midterms. This will be the deciding factor, the deciding things that he does over the next 2 weeks. Going into the first part of February, he said, this will be, even with the State of the Union speech, he even talked about that. This will be what makes or break this nation if he gets the Senate and the House and the decisions that he makes. He said he even warned me today in prayer. He said he has ungodly counsel counseling him, and you need to pray these people away. That his eyes, he would have a visitation, that his eyes of his understanding would be enlightened, and that he would know who he can trust, who he can't trust, who he needs to eliminate out of his cabinet, in his spiritual circle. I saw even moles in his spiritual circle. And the Lord showed me, he said, Brandon, this is very important that he takes no counsel from ungodly people. So there's major things the Lord has told us, even concerning war and an escalation of war, concerning Greenland, all those things. And again, this last video, the Lord showed us, again, the Hispanic man rising up out of Claudia's position Claudia would be removed eventually in the days ahead. He said, but you will have to contend for it, Mexico. You will have to pray, for they will try to put another corrupt puppet inside the Mexican government to rule over Mexico. Do you understand? It's run by cartel. Big mafia cartel drug lords. And that's what the Lord was showing me. He said, this has been a stronghold for a while. Just because we have a president now bringing light to it, this has been a problem for some time. So, we see what the Lord shows us about Venezuela. We see all these things. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to pray about it.
So you heard it, my family, and that's very serious. Do remember to always pray concerning some of these prophetic updates being shared with you. And we also have Prophet Tomi Arayomi, who also had this to say concerning the duty that President Trump is performing. And also there is a snippet over there which shows how God revealed to him what is to happen in 2026, and some of those things we are seeing the manifestation. So let's get into it. I'll meet you in the next one. As always, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to pray for peace in the nation.
I just became privy to some news this morning that the Trump administration is coming against the private ownership of single-parent occupancies by corporations like BlackRock. Big corporations have been buying up single-parent occupancies all across America. And just the news today that he's going to be looking into that to end it is huge, because what that means is that the World Economic Forum's plan will be in checkmate. What was the World Economic Forum's plan? I don't know if you remember this, but it said you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. Your house won't be yours, your car won't be yours, everything will be owned by the daddy government. And just today, thank God, the news just broke that that plan has been crushed. It's been dismantled. I'm sorry, I'm looking like an uncle doing FaceTime or like a granddad, like, hi son. That plan has been crushed. It's been torn down right in front of the World Economic Forum's eyes. That means two things. Number one, the agenda of your own nothing, you'll be happy, is being crippled right now. We're in a moment where God is giving the church more time. The second and glorious thing that also means is that you and I, many of you who could not own homes before because you shop at these massive bidding wars and be outbid by corporations that can afford houses 10 times over, what that means is you can now, for your Gen Z children, afford to get them an inheritance in land, owning property, taking territory. These are the beginnings of the prosperity of nations that we're beginning to talk about, but we've got to wake up and see that happening. Second thing I want to say that's coming to pass so rapidly is the Iran thing. I don't know if you saw a prophecy I gave concerning Iran back in 2023. I said, get ready for Iran intensified. What we're seeing right now in Iran is the beginnings of what the Lord told me would be the Christianization of the nation. We are going to witness Iran coming to Christ as a Middle Eastern nation that become more Christian than Israel. Now, Israel's not very Christian, but there are Christians in Israel. But we're going to see the return of Iran back to God. Iran as a Christian nation again. And Iran used to be a strong Christian nation. Well, God is going to seize that nation back for his glory, and he's going to do it through Generation Z. Generation Z right now has been prophesied. Remember, the Lord said to me, Gen Z are getting ready to be the new Jesus people. Mark these words. The new Jesus people are going to be Generation Z. And you're going to see Iran for Jesus. You're going to see Generation Z rising up like never before. Amen. There is so much more happening that every time it happens, I just want to make a video. But pray for Iran. Pray for Iran. I said this in 2023. You are going to see Iran intensified. And just the news broke, Iran intensifies. You're going to see Iran intensified. And we're seeing that right now. So keep Iran in your prayers. Keep them prayed up. Stay in the realm of the Spirit. Don't lose hope. The reason I'm doing this on my phone is because our studio is not yet built, but soon it'll be built. But who cares? Hey, let's just keep going live. Watch my 2026 prophecy. It is unfolding right now. Nations, leaders, leaders were calling emergency meetings, one in Europe for the Nordic islands, for there was land dispute and territory being fought over for military bases, land usage, and mineral rights. Another in the Western Pacific Ocean. I saw disputes between Philippines, Taiwan, Japan, and other neighbors. I saw disputes over Norway, Sweden, Denmark fighting over the Greenland territory. I saw Trump rising up to threaten anyone that would seek to touch Taiwan, and neighbors being held in check against the invasion. I saw disputes heating up again between India and Pakistan. Suddenly, people thought things were at peace, but things began to heat up again. The word around the world was tensions rising. But the one called the God of War sat upon the nations as a general, moving the pieces on a map. The enemy was full of wrath as the frustrator moved to shake his table and cause confusion in his camp. O nations, hear the word of the Lord. This will be the hour to put the nations in check, that there is a new sheriff in town, and the world leaders will defecate themselves, for the cry of nations shall be free and fair elections. For the war on drugs shall become the war on leaders, and Mexico and Cuba, you now stand in the crosshairs of a revival or realignment, and Nigeria the same, you now stand in the crosshairs of a revival or realignment. Number 3, President Trump. I saw the president increasing power and people seeking to depose him, and world leaders wishing him death or deposition or good and celebration, for he had upset a world order, and many were calling him an imperialist and an empire to himself. This was a new day. Bases and military bases were being set up all over the world at strategic places, pointing towards Russia and China, and from the Caribbean islands and different places around the world, in Europe, also into the future past. I saw in 2026, Elon Musk and Donald Trump were strengthening an alliance that had been lost and had shifted into private sector security for America, with technology that could aim at nations simply from space. I saw new military technology. I saw even Elon Musk operations moving into different areas of technology, with warfare technology and freedom of nations technology. And then I saw the president say, we must reassert our position on the world stage and prepare peace for those who will take the country after I am gone. He was preparing a global security that will make him appear to the world as an imperialist and an emperor. Senate, or the Congress rather, was screaming, you did not get our permission, but yet there was a need to build for the sake of dismantling an old world order that would make the nations of the world upset. The news went into overdrive to create satanic narratives to cast a spell upon the world. But in the midst of this, I saw great change coming. I saw a shift coming in Europe with Emmanuel Macron and his wife. I saw France rising in a whole new way. But I saw people literally writing, is this the golden age that President Trump was talking about?